DaBaby's name seems to be making the headlines on the streets these days, but the biggest controversy came after comedian Dave Chappelle did what no man from the hood should do: snitch. That's right, Dave Chappelle didn't have a brother's back, and now DaBaby may be cancelled. Let's run through what Dave Chappelle snitched about DaBaby. Chappelle, who is an award-winning comedian, is one of the most popular stand-up comedians today. Now, you may not know Dave Chappelle, but you've got to be living under a rock if you don't know DaBaby. DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Lindell Kirk, broke out to fame in 2019 after his debut single, Shug, hit the streets. In 2019, he signed a contract with Interscope Records and South Coast Music Group, and he debuted his first album entitled Baby on Baby. In September 2019, he released his second album titled Kirk, and the album quickly made it to the top Billboard 200 charts. In April 2020, he returned with his third studio album, Blame It on Baby, which featured appearances by Future, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Ashanti, Megan Thee Stallion, and others. Included on the album was the chart-topping Billboard Hot 100 single Rockstar with Roddy Ricch. A non-album track, Masterpiece, arrived in January 2021. Here's the tea about DaBaby killing a man in Walmart. Dave Chappelle broke the internet with his new Netflix special, The Closer, where he made a joke on DaBaby's comments on AIDS and the LGBTQ community.
DaBaby was the #1 streaming artist until about a couple weeks ago. He took a nasty spill on stage and said some wild stuff about the LGBTQ community during a concert in Florida.
You see, DaBaby got the people on the internet streets pissed off a couple of months back when he went on stage and talked some nasty things about gay men and people with AIDS. DaBaby performed at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami, and like every other hype rapper, he asked the crowd to put their cell light. In his words, put your cell phone light up. There ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Well, DaBaby didn't stop there. He didn't even start there. He began by saying, if you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, put your cell phone light up in the air.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, put a cell phone light up.
He said that while he was on stage. Now that's not only rude, but we know for sure he skipped health classes back in high school. DaBaby was fired up, so he kept on talking. He said, ladies, if your smell like water, put your cell phone light up in the air. Fellas, if you ain't sucking in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights up in the air. Keep it real. Now, people was mad pissed that DaBaby said all this, and a lot of Twitter fingers threw their 2 cents in the air, tweeting #CancelDaBaby. Now, here's where Dave Chappelle comes in. Chappelle believed DaBaby was wrong for making those statements. In fact, he kind of dissed DaBaby during a special. He said, you know I go hard in the paint, but even I saw it and was like, God damn, DaBaby. He pushed the button, didn't he? Then he added, he punched the LGBTQ community right in the AIDS. Can't do that. But what he wanted was to negotiate DaBaby's release from the LGBTQ community. So he snitched on DaBaby to the LGBTQ community. He said that they couldn't cancel DaBaby because he killed a man, and that didn't kill his career. That's a story everyone wants to hear. You see, back in 2018, what DaBaby thought was going to be a good day for Christmas shopping turned out to be a pretty messed up day. He went shopping for winter clothes with his baby mama for their baby when 2 men jumped him and flashed a gun at them. They got into a confrontation, and it ended with DaBaby putting a bullet in 19-year-old Jalen Dominique Craig.
Jalen Craig's parents sat lifeless in their home. Outside the courthouse, Jonathan Kirk, better known as the rapper DaBaby, walked free.
After that incident, DaBaby's lawyers advised him not to speak on the issue, but he didn't listen to him. He made an Instagram video saying, lawyers telling me not to say something and all that. 2 down on you and your whole mother family, threaten y'all, whip out on y'all. Let me see what y'all gonna do. You feel me? DaBaby was eventually arrested, but his lawyers held the fort. While his case was in trial, he was only charged with carrying a concealed firearm. After a suspended 30-day jail sentence, DaBaby received 1 year of unsupervised probation. Word on the street was, DaBaby acted in self-defense since he was never charged for the death of Jalen Craig. DaBaby has talked about the shooting at Walmart several times in his music, and he has always claimed that he acted in self-defense. In 2019, he opened up in an interview with Billboard, where he said he didn't feel bad for shooting Craig. In DaBaby's words, "From my end, it was unavoidable. It wasn't my action, it was my reaction. At the end of the day, my family was right there, my daughter, so hell no, I don't lose no sleep." The details of what went down at the mall that day have been hella sketchy, but DaBaby stands by his word. He didn't know how it happened, he just knows it did. In fact, before Dave Chappelle's special, he released a song titled Masterpiece, where he rapped about the shooting. He said, "I didn't know what went down at Walmart. I don't know what happened on that freeway. Okay, there go DaBaby. He back now. Run it back. Hey, turn that on replay." The point is, DaBaby has been open about the shooting at Walmart, and he even sings about it, but that didn't get him canceled. So according to Dave Chappelle, it's pretty funny that you can shoot and kill a man, but you can't hurt a gay person's feelings in America. A lot of people gave their 2 cents on what DaBaby said, including the cousin to Jalen Craig, the man who DaBaby killed. She claimed that there had been no robbery. She said Jalen was only a fan of DaBaby, who was an up-and-coming rapper at the time. Jalen ran into DaBaby at the mall, like every other fan. He was pretty excited to see the rapper, but DaBaby misinterpreted his excitement. In her Twitter thread, she wrote, "Now that so many more people are apt to cancel him, are we ready to talk about the murder he committed in November 2018? Shortly after, he blew up on the scene and had the nerve to brag about it in his songs. DaBaby is a killer and a menace." Jalen Craig's cousin ended the thread by saying, "Not only did DaBaby kill Jalen, but he's also perpetuated a lie that continues to assassinate Jalen's character and tarnish his good name. Well, my family and I have had enough." DaBaby's career may have just caught a bullet this time, and there may be no saving it. Many people felt like Dave Chappelle snitched on a brother. A couple of celebrities dissed Chappelle in support of DaBaby. Michael Blackson posted on his Twitter saying, "Dave Chappelle did not help DaBaby at all, SMH LOL." Blackson tweeted, "Dave Chappelle low-key snitched on DaBaby." He also added that Chappelle was digging up DaBaby's unknown past for no reason. In Blackson's words, "The LGBT did not know he killed anyone. Now they hate him even more, LOL." And assured that the LGBT, it was self-defense. Blackson was not tweeting in the defense of those targeted by DaBaby's homophobic rant, but rather in defense of the rapper, and obviously thought Chappelle was putting DaBaby in an even worse spot. Not everyone bashed Dave Chappelle. 50 Cent applauded his comments via an Instagram post where he said, "Dave Chappelle is a funny mother. That was flawless." He wrote, "Hip-hop loves things that are damaged. That's the beauty of our culture. At DaBaby is on a new path. Music has changed everything. LOL." DaBaby himself hasn't made any comments on Dave Chappelle's jokes. He's been touring in Dubai, where he has a couple of concerts, so he's pretty occupied at the moment. Anyway, the DaBaby we all know will certainly say something at his own time. DaBaby's crime didn't come as a surprise to many, as he's well known to have run-ins with the feds. You see, long before DaBaby hit the mainstream, he had been arrested severally on minor charges, and after his breakout, he still stayed on the streets and in trouble. DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Lindale Kirk, has over 14 incidents of arrest registered under his name. The earliest record of his arrest was in 2013, when DaBaby was 21 years old. In that year, he was arrested twice. His first arrest happened when the feds found marijuana in his possession along with a concealed weapon. He was placed on a $500 bail, and he was released later that day. His second arrest was in the same prison for a felony charge of possession of marijuana and in possession of drug paraphernalia. He was released on a $5,000 bail. In February 2014, he received a window tinting violation. It may have been a minor offense, but still, it was a stain on his record. Later in April, DaBaby was also caught driving around without a license and registration. He was also caught yet again with possession of drug paraphernalia and marijuana. In October 2014, DaBaby was again arrested for possession of marijuana. After 2014, he managed to stay out of trouble until the Walmart shooting that happened in 2018. You'd think with his uprising fame and several arrests, DaBaby was going to stay out of trouble, but he didn't. In December 2019, right after gifting over 200 toys to underprivileged kids, DaBaby was arrested for being in possession of less than 1/2 ounce of marijuana and also resisting against officers.
You may remember DaBaby was handcuffed and cited on Christmas Eve for possession of marijuana just hours after he passed out gifts to underprivileged kids in the area.
A couple of weeks after that, he was again arrested in Miami, Florida. The arrest was in connection to a robbery that took place after a concert at Cafe Iguana Pines. DaBaby and his crew allegedly punched one of the promoters at the event. According to the victim, he had a meeting with DaBaby and his crew to pay for a gig, and the rapper believed the promoter shorted him by several $1,000s, and things went out of control.
Breaking tonight, rapper and Charlotte native Jonathan Kirk, better known in the music world as DaBaby, is in trouble with the law again. This time he was detained by police in Miami. They say he was questioned for an armed robbery where he was close to the scene this afternoon.
The charges in this case ended up being dropped. However, while in police custody in Miami, he was still held due to an outstanding warrant from Texas. That wasn't the last time DaBaby had a run-in with the feds. In fact, in 2021, he was arrested for weapons allegations again. According to the police, he took a loaded gun into an upscale store on Rodeo Drive. Although he wasn't the only one arrested, he was the only one made to pay a $35,000 bond. Despite his run-ins with the law and his multiple controversies on social media, DaBaby has still managed to have a successful career with 4 Grammy nominations to his name. In fact, his recently released song hit 16 million views on YouTube. Believe me, it's going to be tough trying to cancel DaBaby by trending a hashtag on social media. However, if he isn't careful, he might find himself behind bars, and this time may be on a sentence. With his multiple arrest records, the feds only need a few more before he is tagged dangerous and a multiple-time offender. Hopefully, he won't be canceled then. That's a wrap for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.